Hello and welcome back to the Fruit of Grisaia. Last time we finally managed to get on good terms with all of the students, well, relatively. Yuuji then barged in on an undressing Amane in his room and eventually got roped into hauling groceries for Amane as she went out shopping. And now, let's continue. In the time-honored traditions of America, bright red cars are called pony cars because of their reputation as playthings for schoolboys, while yellow models are jackass cars because only morons drive them. A certain German woman I know, whether aware of that or not, deliberately drives a particularly flashy yellow vehicle around. Apparently, she very much enjoys the compliments she gets from colleagues at work, usually some variation of "it really suits you." In other words, a stupid car like that is just about right for a dumb blonde. But she hasn't caught on to the fact that she's been mocked, and I've tactfully decided not to inform her either. Just like with women who get flattered when someone tells them your dress does wonders for your figure, it's pretty tough to let her know after the fact she's not really being complimented. But sometimes things like this can come back to bite you when you least expect it. Hey, Yuuji-kun? There's a foreigner looking over here and waving at us. Someone you know? Don't know her. I don't have any bimbos among my acquaintances. But I'm pretty sure she's waving at you in particular. I told you I don't know her. Probably selling Girl Scout cookies. Say what? Either way, better not get too close. Let's get out of here. Howdy, Yuuji. Hey, she pretty clearly just called your name, you know. What is this woman thinking? Who is she? I'll explain later. Sorry, but go on ahead. Huh? What? You knew her after all? Could it be a loan shark? She's my guardian, or rather, my guarantor. Is everything okay? It's fine. Hurry up and take Makina back. I'll be right behind you. I'm just going to say a quick hello. Okay. Apparently not enjoying the way I'm shooing her off with my hands like a stray dog, Amane walks away with a sulky expression, shooting repeated glances over her shoulder. After watching Amane and Makina disappear past the school gate, I screw up an irritated expression, scratch my head vigorously, and approach the blinding yellow bimbo mobile. Look, woman. Hey, yo, enjoying your school life? Yeah, more or less. You enjoying pretending to be my guardian? You sure have a nasty way of putting things. You're just like a Sako in that aspect, you know? What did you come here for? Do I need to have a reason to come see you? I'm technically a guardian, you know? Although I'm grateful that you're acting as guarantor of my background, I don't need a guardian at my age. Kindly get lost. You're so cold. You're such a sweet little kid too. If you think you can shut me up by bringing up my childhood, you've got another thing coming. I'll repeat the question. What did you come here for? If it's about work, I thought I had a break for the moment. No, I just wanted to come and take a peek at how well you're handling being a normal student in a normal school. There's no problem at present. If you forced me to come up with one, you being here would top the list. It's going to be a pain in the ass to make up an excuse when I get back to classroom. Don't increase my workload. We prepared a perfectly straightforward past for you, didn't we? Stick to the script. I'm a distant relative of your mother. I prefer avoid lying outright when possible. Lies are like colors. The more you pile up, the blacker things get. Good word. When it comes to lies, wouldn't Akasaka's red be more appropriate? I think that would be Asaka. Get enough of that place and thing turns just as black. And that's why you handle things carefully, assuming you're planning on avoiding an accidental death. I don't need you to tell me that. I'm handling this myself, which is precisely why I don't need you giving me surprises like this. Fine, I'll head back for today. What? Are you serious? You really did just come to see me? That's what I said. If we needed to talk business, I'd contact you by cell phone beforehand. Ah, right, the cell phone. Hold it. Don't tell me you're not carrying it after we got you a separate one for private use on top of the one for work. Sorry, I'll make sure to keep it around from now on. If you don't respond to an attempt at contact from us for longer than 15 minutes, you'll have a squad on you for desertion. You know that, right? I'm aware. Also, you need to submit a written application in advance if you leave the prefecture. I'm aware of that as well. Ah, that's right. When you came to this place, you walked over the prefectural border. I bought you a train ticket, you know. What the hell was that? I hate trains, as you know. What kind of idiot walks 200 kilometers for a reason like that? The kind that's standing in front of you. Also, the walk was closer to 175 kilometers. You talk pretty big considering that little trip ended with you in police custody. I'm the one who got crap from the brass, you know? Hey you, stop saying this woman's a pain in the ass with your eyes. You're some kind of psychic? How did you read my thoughts? You want me to cry? No, look, I do feel bad about that. I'll apologize nice and slowly over dinner next time, so please leave. If you can think you can shut me up by buying me food, you got another thing coming. Not to repeat myself, but if you want to avoid an accidental death, don't do anything too stupid. Understood? Understood. Orders received, Major Harudera. Hey, stop saying, can I hit this guy just once with your eyes? Are you psychic? Please don't spread it around. It's a pain in the ass to have to bend a spoon every time I introduce myself. You know... I do understand. Don't mind my jokes. Jeez. Where did we go wrong in raising you? Such a nasty kid. I get that a lot. Hurry up and get going. You don't have the time to play around here either, do you? Yes, I'm leaving. Not that I need your help managing my time. You're awfully persistent. You're right. My bad, JB. As long as you understand. Well, I'll be in touch. Yeah. I watch as JB turns away and climbs into her car, her blonde hair swinging behind her in waves. As she drives off, I retrieve a cell phone from her school bag. Although I pretended otherwise, I'd been carrying my work phone around just as ordered. It's a black, low-profile slide phone I received from JB specifically for company business. I slide the screen up, quickly input the unlock pin and call up the menu screen. Although it looks like a perfectly normal cell phone, any calls made from this machine pass through a special encrypted line. There's only one entry in the contact. That single number is listed under JB, Julia Badera, naturalized name of Harudera Yuria, my direct supervisor at my part-time job. If you're going to come, at least give me an advance warning. I click my tongue in irritation, slide the phone shut, and stuff it into the pocket of my uniform so I can respond instantly to any future contact. Harudera Yuria, alias JB, as the woman said herself, she's something of a pain in the ass. She'll go nearly half a year without a single call, and then suddenly it's a brusque standby in designated point where, of course, she has some incredibly troublesome job waiting to push on to me. No, it's almost better when there's actually a job. Sometimes she leaves me at the rendezvous point for more than an hour without any contact. And then, when I finally get the call I've been sitting around waiting for, it's occurred, situation resolved, and I go right back home again. Well, I do get a travel fee deposited into my account just for heading to the standby point, so I suppose it's not a complete fool's errand in that sense, but sometimes I can't help but feel like my time on this earth isn't being spent efficiently. It's something of a behind-the-scenes part job, and the work would be troublesome to explain to others if they asked. Of course, it's also not the kind of job I can just usually quit when I want to. More importantly, this is a position that I inherited from my master. I wouldn't walk away even if I could. Well then, how should I explain this to Amani and company? I don't think I'll be able to pass her off as a cookie peddler after all. I passed through the Mihama Academy school gate, dragging myself along on heavy feet. Ah, there you are. As expected, the instant I show my face in the classroom, Amani jumps all over me. Most of my classmates are gathered on the far side of the room, apparently having watched me from the window. And as I enter, they are all looking at me with questions in their eyes. Hey, who was that? The blondie just now? Blondie. Naturally, Amani is the one who steps forward to interrogate me, as if declaring herself the representative of the class. That said, the rest of the group doesn't seem to be disinterested either. Markin is staring at me with a dazed expression, and Sachi is clutching her hands together in front of her chest, waiting for my words with bated breath. As for Michiru, for some reason she's glaring at me like I kicked her puppy. Sakagi, on the other hand, is sitting primly in his seat reading a book as if to announce she's above such things, but judging from the way she hasn't turned up the page once since I came in, we probably got her attention as well. I told you already, didn't I? She's my superior for my part-time job. Superior, huh? Is it? Yuuji-kun, you have a part-time job? Yeah, I lost both my parents when I was a kid, so I have to earn my own living expenses. What sort of job is it? It's a little difficult to summarize, but I get rid of garbage or crawl into various spaces and take care of the cleaning. It's what you'd call dirty work. So already here we got a pretty big hint to what it is that Yuuji is doing. So that blondie works in cleaning too? That's right, but she's on the management side, so she doesn't get her hands dirty. What's her name? JB. JB? Her real name is Harudera Juria. JB is a pet name. She's Japanese? Sure doesn't look like it. She's a naturalized citizen. I think she's originally German. Don't really remember. I pull out the chair from my seat and drop my back on top of the desk with a deliberately loud thump. Questioning over now. If you satisfied your curiosity, then go sit down. Class is going to start. Just as I speak, the first bell rings and Makina and Sachi scurry back to the seats. But the large woman who's been interrogating me, her expression is still smoldering with irritation. Pulls out the chair from the seat in front of mine and sits down heavily. Hey, Yuuji-kun, I haven't asked you the most important question yet. What? Spit it out then. Your relationship with that person. She's not your girlfriend, is she? That's your big question? What a joke. It's not a laughing matter for me. Don't stick your nose in my face. You get excited? You got a mustache starting there. You're kidding! Yeah, just screwing with you. I'm going to break your nose, okay? Sounds fun. Give it a try. You little... Amana's punch is slow and lacking in serious intent. I dodge it easily with a slight swaying movement of my upper body. Think this over calmly. Do I look like a man who could be in a relationship? That's exactly why I'm suspicious. In your case, an older blonde foreign lover feels strangely plausible. Amane stares into my eyes if searching for the truth. I mean, don't you also know Principal Tachibana somehow? Well, yeah. Talk about fishy. What is? What were you doing before you came to this school? Well, so this question finally came up. On paper, I was studying abroad in Canada, or some similar lie they came up with for my forged personal history. But if they start pushing into that story, this will just drag on. Answering somewhat honestly now should make for less trouble down the line anyway. Before I came here, I guess I was a freeloader of sorts. Freeloader? If you want to make it sound fancier, maybe a gigolo? I was being supported by an unrelated older woman. That's the blonde woman? No, she's a friend of the other woman. I started mooching off of her after the first one died. You're awful. In exchange, she worked me brutally hard on the job. She doesn't have anything to complain about. Amane shuts her eyes and slaps her hand on her forehead and heaves a heavy sigh. In any case, you don't have a girlfriend, right? Right. I'll admit I don't quite understand what's the main point here, but I guess the stuff is on the mind of girls at this age. If you try to force your perspective onto everything, you lose sight of the bigger picture. Although she doesn't look entirely satisfied by my response, Amane mutters a brief, well, alright. Rises from the chair and heads back to her own seat. I watch until she finally sits down and then quickly turn to look behind me. What do you want? Immediately behind me, I find a bright red Michiru staring back at me. Were you listening? Don't get the wrong idea. It's not like I'm interested or anything. I wasn't listening. I just happened to overhear. Don't go around making me hear your weird stories. Got it? You're a real nuisance sometimes. Crossing her arms tightly in front of her chest, her face bright red, Michiru babbles frantically. In response, I thrust out my right hand in an energetic thumbs up. Nice thunder, Michiru. God, you're such a jerk. If you don't want to talk about something, you should make it awkward to ask. Based on that theory, I tried spicing things up a little more than reality. But who knows how much of it they believed. Of course, it's true that my parent died when I was still a kid. That I was picked up by an older woman, my master, and that I lived off the money she earned. After my master's death, I did get work from her friend JB in order to earn my keep. On top of that, it's thanks to her vouching for me that I'm able to attend a normal school like this in the first place. Now that I think about it, I didn't change the facts much at all. But then, the more you focus on constructing believable lies, the less they tend to work. When you stick more or less to the truth, you'll end up convincing people no matter how absurd the story sounds. A promising start would be a bit of an overstatement, but I think I can work with this. No matter what sort of life you're living, you'll run into people who just won't listen to what you have to say. When words don't get through, the easiest alternative is beating them into submission. Certainly a bit of a rough solution, but when you're dealing with another man, it's at least an option. But when you're dealing with a woman, let alone a shrimp of a girl who doesn't come up to your shoulder, it's a different story. If you start swinging your fist around out of irritation under those circumstances, anyone would call it bullying the weak. It's bad style. Leaves an unpleasant taste in your mouth too. What's called for in such situation is perseverance and patience. They're always saying we live in an age of technological wonders. So I've been waiting for someone to invent a machine you can stick on your back and switch to Zen-like, instantly granting yourself infinite self-control. But despite the clear market potential, the world isn't such a convenient place. Well, no big deal. I'm pretty used to endurance tests by now. It's been 5 minutes since I've spotted Irisu Makina wandering aimlessly around the campus and called out "What are you up to?" in a casual tone. On the bright side, she reacted to my voice and stopped dead in her tracks instead of fleeing, but the next step is proving a little more problematic. The girl's just staring up at my face. She hasn't said a word. "Can you not speak Japanese?" Silent as always, Makina shakes her head back and forth in denial, apparently having understood my question. "Are you afraid of me, maybe?" Her silence continues, and this time there is neither confirmation nor denial. It seems unlikely that she didn't understand the question, which would mean that this one is in uncertain territory, somewhere between yes and no, as far as I can guess. I'm repeating myself, but this sort of communication takes a lot of patience and persistence. I try to consciously consider things from Makina's point of view. A transfer student with an unclear background. What's more, a man 178 centimeters high. From the perspective of Makina, who I'd guess to be around 140, it might be a little intimidating to have me towering above her. For the moment, I crouch down so that my eyes are level with hers. "It seems like you were wandering around the grounds. You looking for something?"
"Nope."
Makina speaks a single word in a quiet voice and once again shakes her head in denial. "Then what are you doing?" That's the point of some interest to me, but, well, if you get down to it, wherever she is and whatever she's doing is her own business, I suppose. I'm not a policeman, and I don't have any reason to drag it out of her. In this case, it might be best to find some words to wrap this up cleanly, give her a friendly goodbye, and let this timid creature be on her way. But just as I reach this conclusion, Makina slowly moves her hand to the rear of her skirt, grabs something with her stubby fingers, and pushes it in front of my eyes. What's this thing?" At glance, the item in Makina's small hand is a toy-like object roughly the size of an egg, with an LCD screen buried into the center.
"A digital pet."
"What's that?" On closer examination, there's some unknown life form, or monster more closely resembling a chick, displayed in the blocky pixels in the central LCD. It seems to be programmed with some cheap animations, but about 3 patterns or so. Come to think of it, I remember reading a news article about this a few years ago. After developing the smallest 3-axis geomagnetism sensor in the world at the time, a certain company fed that technology into a children's electronic toy, which then became an explosive hit amongst grade schoolers. It's a pedometer, right? One of those things where the pet grows up faster the more you walk.
"Yeah, that's it."
Nodding her head, Makina returned the pedometer in her hand to her waist. In other words, she wasn't looking for anything in particular, her wandering itself was the objective. "Walking's a good thing, since it's an aerobic exercise without too much straining on the joints, and if you're going to walk anyway, having some sort of visible result for the effort might make it more worthwhile."
"Well, I don't really want to go outside that much."
Makina points at the school gates as she speaks. "I see. It makes sense that she'd want to avoid crowded places, giving her extreme shyness. That would restrict her strolls to pacing around the school grounds, which would quickly get repetitive. So the digital pet serves as a distraction from that boredom, most likely." "You like taking walks?"
"Sorta, kinda."
"Sorta it is." Well, walking for fun at this age might be a little odd. Seems more like a hobby of an old man. "You have any other interests? Like reading, for example? Read any books lately?"
"Books?"
"Manga's fine too, whatever." To tell the truth, I'd already heard from Amane that Makina often reads books, and reading is a hobby of mine as well. I think it's a decent common topic for starters. In response to my question, Makina holds her right index finger to her chin and mumbles, while gazing up at the sky.
A quiz book."
"A quiz, huh? Was it interesting?"
"What's a dangerous sweet that's life-threatening to observe with the naked eye?"
Ah, so it's essentially a book with jokes and puns. Life-threatening to observe with the naked eye. What kind of death ray weapon is that? And sweet of all things. Some new tech from the West? Just looking at it is dangerous. Would mean it's probably some variety of optical weapon, something like an X-ray possessing mass or some sort of beam saber style light-based killing tool. No, wait, if just seeing it is dangerous. Some sort of super weapon that radiates a pulse to receptors of the eyeball using a flickering pattern to stimulate the brain cells and triggering accelerated apoptosis. Hold it. This thing is a sweet, right? A sweet? Where the hell do we go from here? All I'm getting is some sort of chocolate pastry shooting out a mysterious beam of light. Pew pew pew. Don't know. Give up. What's the answer?
Candy.
What?
Candy. See and die.
See and die. Ah, I get it. I missed that angle. Candy.
Can I go now?
Huh? Yeah, sorry to hold you up.
Without even a bio, later Machina leaves the area at a trot, as if fleeing from me.
It doesn't seem like she outright hates me, though.
Isn't it the opposite?
How long have you been there?
Since the part about candy, I think.
What do you mean by the opposite?
Ah, well, you know. Her shyness is definitely part of it, but I think Machina is trying to not be disliked by you.
Trying to not be disliked?
Machina is really more a cheerful girl, but she often so energetic that it gets on people's nerves, so she's holding back. True enough, I remember seeing her rushing around, brandishing a cicada and cackling that first time. If that's a normal state, then the way she behaves in front of me would certainly be a product of deliberate self-restraint, but if she's holding back, isn't that proof that she's consciously trying to avoid being hated by you?
I think it could be interpreted as simple fear as well.
Well, half out of fear. Does sound about right, but I think that'll be alright.
What makes you say that?
When you were talking with Machina just now, you squatted down to talk to her face to face, right? That's actually pretty effective.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, there was a time I'd be surrounded by unfamiliar adults and found myself on the brink of tears. When one of the adults stooped down to talk with me face to face, I immediately got emotionally attached. Looking back, I feel like shouting, "You sure got attached to an outrageous person," or complaining about what an idiot I was, but... Right, I'm pretty tall myself and all, and Machina really didn't take to me at first. It took me a good month to figure out that trick of bending over when I talked to her.
And now she's glued to you, or something like that?
Well, she's definitely got attached to me, but it's not like we're together constantly. Machina is the type that fundamentally likes to play alone. And the girl's got some pretty fierce mood swings too. Don't take this the wrong way, but if I was with her constantly, I'd get worn out pretty fast.
Maybe she's playing by herself because she understands that.
I can't explain it too well, but she's kind of like a cat. When she wants your attention, she'll meow and cuddle up to you, but the instant she gets bored, she'll be gone like that. Her hair's all fluffy and curly, her body flexible and soft, her temperature's high so it's warm when you hug her, and she's got a mildly sweet scent. Very cat-like, don't you think?
A cat. I see.
Well, she might seem a little blunt when she gets used to you, but she's really not a bad kid. Try to make friends.
I don't plan to force her to be friends if she doesn't want to be, but yeah, I'll try to avoid being hated.
If I avoid unnecessary contact, I shouldn't inspire any hatred, or come to hate anyone myself. In exchange, I won't be liked or come to like anyone either. Maintaining emotional distance along appropriate lines is an essential but extremely difficult aspect of forming efficient interpersonal relationships. Of course, there are always these careless puppy dog types who will leap into your arms wagging their tails right from the start.
What are you staring at my face for?
Well, just thinking about how beautiful you are.
Got in the mood for a kiss?
Alright, Amani, close your eyes.
Okay. Her chest swelling with some ridiculous expectation, Amanda closes her eyes and thrusts out her lips as instructed. Moving quickly and silently, I make good my getaway, leaving the girl to her foolishness. Hey, where are you going? You tease! I see. Makina may have the right idea. Leaving out later or goodbye entirely and silently running away certainly is less troublesome. Don't take it the wrong way, Amane. It's not that I hate you. I'm just trying to avoid being hated by you. And that's where we'll end today's episode. So, until next time, take care.